Welcome to Top Sports Talk, presented by Top Sports News. I'm one of your hosts, Caleb Jenneret, and next to me is Isaac Deer. Isaac, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. It was a wild week. I said that last week, but it topped it this week. There was a lot of stuff going on. Some commitments, some rivalry games, some really close games in general with about everything. It was just a really crazy week of preps once again, and I'm just thrilled to be talking about it with you once again, and kind of excited to get your insight on things, some things that I probably didn't pick up on because it tends to happen with me. But I'm glad that we're able to kind of talk about this and get into it today.
Yeah, sure thing. So before we start, let's thank our gold sponsors, Invista Credit Union and Family Guidance Center, for continuing to sponsor Top Sports News. And shout out the Top Sports News ticker. We have it on our website. You just go on it. You can talk about whatever game you're at. You can look on there. Scores are going to be live. Super good tool, super good utility, and super fun to use. So super helpful on game days. So always take
Yeah,
advantage of that.
the ticker is extremely helpful too because we can't be at all the games at once. So wherever you are, you're able to click on the game ticker tab on our website, topsports.news, and then you can just report anything score related that's going on. And I think everybody, not just us riders, but fans in general and family members really appreciate. Um, if you're at the game, you might as well let everybody know what the score is. So it's actually extremely helpful, and it's great to see everything that's going on and that we can't make it to. So I love the ticker. It's awesome. It's been really helpful for me, and I think for you and for Rick and for everybody else. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, sure thing. So before we get into the football, because it was a high scoring week in football, some of these scores um, went up there. So, but I want to talk about some golf stuff. So Hayden Girls Golf, which is going on right now, is led by three juniors and a couple freshmen, and they've been hot lately, and they seem like they're getting better every week. Just wanted to shout them out as their coach. They got a new coach, and he's doing pretty well. He's been a state champion golf coach for boys before, hopping over to the girls side at Hayden, and he's doing really well over there. So watch out for them. But yeah, Isaac, I know you were in Rossville yesterday about
Yeah,
volleyball, so I'll let you take
yeah,
that away.
absolutely. And before I get to volleyball, I also want to shout out Lois Dieter from Seaman. She's had two individual wins so far this year, but the highly touted golf star in Kansas finally made her commitment. She's going to Arkansas Tech University. As a freshman in high school, she placed sixth in the state as in the tournament as a freshman, the state tournament as a freshman. Missed 2020, came back last year. She placed top five in the state, and she's already off to a great start with two individual wins. So, congratulations on your commitment, Lois. If you're listening, we're supporting you the whole way, and I can't wait to see what she does the rest of the year. She's just a rock star, man. She's really just one of those phenomenal golfers that, um, for people that aren't interested in golf, Lois is different. Lois is different. She's super talented, but also another commitment. It'll kind of segue to volleyball. Mackenzie Jones from Topeka West, the 6'1" hitter, committed to Kansas State. So EMA, go Cats! Awesome. I am so excited for you, Mackenzie. She made an oral commitment to Kansas State. She confirmed that with Top Sports News the other day on Tuesday night. So K State's getting a good one. Mackenzie Jones, just a beast. One of the many superstars in Topeka, and she's going to Manhattan. So that's awesome for Mackenzie and awesome for Kansas State. They're getting a really good player, and Washburn Rural. If we're talking volleyball, Washburn Rural. They, speaking of great and um, kicking everybody around, Washburn Rural. They've been pretty good at that so far. They're on a 6-match win streak right now. Defeated Blue Valley West 25-15, then 25-23 in match one this past week, and then they would defeat Shawnee Mission Northwest 25-12 and 25-17. Washburn Rural's really all but one opponent this year have been from Johnson County, and you're getting the toughest of the tough when it comes to volleyball right away in 6A. It's in 5A too. There's some Johnson County schools over there. I think I don't have it in front of me, but I think off the top of my head, I think St. James Academy might be the only
Yeah.
team that's given Washburn Rural a loss this year. But yeah, so Washburn Rural is legit. I know we come on here and say it every week, but they just keep proving themselves against these top quality teams and top quality schools that they're legit, man. They're handing everybody losses, giving everybody fits, and I think that everything that they've proven last year and this year at this point this year that they're a legitimate state contender, and I think people should probably start recognizing Washburn Rural as top one, maybe top two, top three best teams in Class 6A in the state of Kansas. But yesterday, I was at the Rossville Volleyball Invitational at Rossville High School, and a few county teams participated in the 10 team tournament. It was Silver Lake, it was Rossville, and it was Topeka Hayden. So it was a really fun tournament. It was a long tournament. It was like 7-8 hours long. But if you want some more of the tournament itself, you can check out my story that I wrote up yesterday on topsports.news. You just click the news tab, it should be right there. But I came away super impressed with all three county teams. It was a tough 10 team tournament. You're talking schools like Ottawa and Abilene and Osage City and Tonganoxie, Wamego, just a bunch of schools that were there. And I guess I'll start out with Hayden. Hayden went 2-2 in pool play yesterday. They defeated Osage City in 2 sets pretty handedly, pretty comfortably, and then they defeated Abilene in 3 sets. So that they had a pretty good day overall in the pool play. Did well in the consolation bracket, but Hayden pretty solid day against some really tough competition. But I was impressed with what they did yesterday. But Rossville only lost 1 set out of 12 in pool play yesterday, which is pretty great. But there's even better later. I'll kind of get to that. But Rossville lost 1 set out of 12, and that was to Wamego, and it was the first match that they played, or first set that they played Wamego in. But they defeated Wamego, they defeated Holton, Ottawa, and Pleasant Ridge in pool play before they made it all the way to the championship game in the tournament. And that's where I'll get to Silver Lake. Silver Lake didn't lose one single match in pool play yesterday. They kind of dominated. Well, they didn't kind of dominate. They dominated. They dominated every single team that they faced yesterday. They had a couple close games or a couple close sets, I'd say, before the championship game sets, which those were extremely close too. But it wouldn't be a true rivalry if Silver Lake and Rossville didn't meet up in the championship. Out of all those teams that came, no matter the classification, what part of the state you're from, Silver Lake and Rossville, they'd meet up in the championship, because that's just the way it is in dog country. You know, the schools that are 6 miles apart are going to meet up. And in the championship match, the 2 sets had 9 different lead changes. Nobody jumped out to a lead more than, I think, 4 points, and the intensity was high. But it was such a fun match to cover. I think that was definitely the best part of the day, was watching those 2 square it off in the championship game. You could tell it meant a lot to them, and parents and family, you know, all sorts of family members in the crowd, and they've been sitting on the bleachers for 7 hours that day. It was just a perfect end to the day, and the fact that the match was so close too made it better. But Silver Lake won it all. They won 25-23 in set 1, and then 26-24 in set 2. One more in the volleyball world. Seaman had a rough weekend last weekend in the Lansing Invitational. They went 1-3 last week, but they definitely made it up this week. They opened up the night with a 25-20 victory, or 25-20, and then 25-15 win over Shawnee Heights before they knocked off Topeka West, which was their tournament. They knocked off Topeka West 25-17 and then 25-16. So after having a really rough weekend in Lansing, they made it up with a successful weekend at the Topeka West invite. So good on Seaman. And I guess we can lead off with soccer. I think you already know where I'm going with this. Go ahead and lead with the Junior Blues. We talk about Easton Bradstreet all the time, deservedly so. He had another great week, but this time we have another player, because that's how Washburn Rural rolls. They have all the players are really, really good at soccer. Devin Rutschman, recognize the name. He contributed with 5 goals in an 8-0 win at Hayden. So the Junior Blues overall had a busy week. They had a 2-1, went 2-1 on the week. They had a 9-0 victory over Junction City, and then an 8-0 victory over Hayden. But they did take a loss to Blue Valley Northwest Overland Park on Saturday, 5-0. So Washburn Rural takes their first loss on the year. But overall, I mean, they'll be fine. I don't think, 3 games in a week is already tiring enough. And then on a Saturday afternoon at Overland Park, it's just can't really, judge much off of that. So they take the loss there, but great week for them, outscoring teams 17-5. I'll take that. I think they'll take that any day of the week. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and then Topeka High. Topeka High had a good game this week. They started off the week against, I think it was Topeka West. Topeka West, they were able to mount a second half comeback while they were down 2-1 going into halftime. They were able to win 4-2 in the end. It was a quick turnaround where they'd play 24 hours later against Tonganoxie. They would host them, so they didn't really have to travel much. And then they defeated Tonganoxie at home. So great week for Topeka High. Highland Park soccer is on a roll. I mean, the move to the Meadowlark Conference it's been perfect for them. I mean, it's just the confidence booster that they needed, but they're on a roll. This week nothing but good. Highland Park defeated Schlegel 5-3, and then they defeated Atchison 8-1. Have a winning record in soccer, winning record in football. They're doing things right so far this year, and I'm happy to see Highland Park is kind of in very good spirits. So that's great. And then Seaman had a 0-0 overtime draw against Topeka West, and then they lost 3-2 against Shawnee Heights. And I was at that game at Bettis Family Sports Complex over at Lake Shawnee, and that was a really good game. It started off pretty mild, pretty fair. It was 1-0 going into halftime, but the rivalry kind of came in. A day later, I'd go to the Shawnee Heights Seaman football game, which we'll get to later. But it got a little chippy. The offense got hot, and Shawnee Heights put up 2 goals. Seaman put up 2 goals, and Shawnee Heights put up 2 goals in the second half. But if it wasn't for Shawnee Heights getting that 1 goal in the first half, it might have been close. But yeah, that was a really good game. And Shawnee Heights had a kind of a rough start to the year. They were faced with basically all 6A schools who have a winning record right now. But now they're starting to face United Kansas Conference schools, and right now they're 2-0 against the UKC. So they won that game 3-2 against Seaman, and they also won 4-1 against Turner. So good on Shawnee Heights. Shawnee Heights is rolling right now. A couple more sports to get to here. We're gonna go to the tennis front. Topeka High's Haley Carpenter and Addison Carroll posted a 4-0 record on the day at the Crossover Tennis Center here in Topeka, and they were able to win the doubles championship at the Topeka High Invitational. So, and overall as a team, Topeka High placed second out of the 8-school tournament. But Haley Carpenter and Addison Carroll won the doubles title. So that was pretty awesome. And then we have cross country. Last but not least, cross country. We'll start off on the girls' front. Washburn Rural sophomore Peyton Fink placed 4th individually to lead Topeka City Racers in Saturday's Baldwin Invitational. She clocked a 5-kilometer time of 19 minutes, 9 seconds. Hold on. 19 minutes, 9 seconds. I don't know how to read that. So it's 19, 9, it doesn't, 57 milliseconds, maybe 19, 9, then 57. No, it's not 19 hours.
19, 57.
7. So that's 19 minutes, 9 seconds.
9 seconds.
Then 57 milliseconds.
9.57 seconds. I don't know.
Really fast. Peyton Fink is really good at running long distance. I think that's what I was trying to get to. Lord, I am a journalism major, not a math guy. So she had a nice 4th place finish at the Baldwin City Invitational with 19, 9, and 57. We'll just say that. And then Ryan Miller, who's a freshman at Seaman, placed ninth individually with 20 minutes and 1 second, while Washburn Rural sophomore Riley Ismert and Seaman senior Bethany Drews finished 11th and 12th with great times as well. And then a Washburn Rural freshman, Vilde Tronstad, she also posted a top 20 finish, taking 17th overall with 20 minutes and 19 seconds with the 5 kilometer. And then on the boys front, we've talked about him before, but Lenny Narogi, he earned his second individual win of the season at the Baldwin Invitational. Lenny Narogi's winning race, 15 minutes and 52 seconds. That's pretty, that's pretty good. That's insanely good. And how do people? We're going to talk about this every week. How like, why is this fun for some people? I enjoy it because I'm just like, these are freak athletes that are doing nothing that I could do. But doesn't that kind of sound like peer torture to you?
Yeah, no, 100%. Definitely does.
When I was before college football, I was in high school and I went to a relatively small school, and football practice would practice the same exact time as cross country would. And cross country would use our gravel track because I went to an itty bitty school, so we had a gravel track, and I was out of the practice field. We started at 4 p.m., ended around 6:15, 6:30 or so. They'd still be running. I'm like, I am dying from football practice. I run very short distances, and they're just 2 hours straight, just run, just maybe one water break in between, but that's all they did was just run. I'm like, psychos. Anyways, Washburn Rural seniors David Johnson, Easton Dial, and Grayson Fink also had a pretty good day. They finished 15th, 16th, and 17th. So all junior blues finishing the 3 in a row, 15 through 17. Senior Zach Jowers from Seaman placed 30th overall in the Baldwin City Invitational with a time of 17 minutes and 32 seconds. So on the cross country front, everything's looking pretty good. I think all sports in general. We'll get to football here in a second, but Topeka's in really good hands. Shawnee County's in really good hands, and I was really impressed with what I read from Rick or what I saw in person or what you've kind of talked about. It's been a really good start to the fall, and there's going to be a lot of teams competing for either postseason titles or just being in that contention overall. So we're not done being busy quite yet. And then when we get to the winter, after the fall, the basketball season is absolutely absurd because everybody's really good at everything. So it's just but I appreciate everybody that's taking the time to do interviews with me this week, and I appreciate writing stories about everybody. And Caleb, you and I kind of share the same passion in terms of giving people equal and fair coverage as much as we can. So I appreciate everybody giving us great content. I appreciate everybody on the ticker as well, filling in with those scores. So yeah, so let's get to the gridiron, Caleb.
There we go. So starting it out at the game that we both had the opportunity to attend, great game, defensive slugfest, Shawnee Heights versus Seaman. As Shawnee Heights knocks off Seaman 14-7. Alan Bauman runs for 29 carries, 178 yards, and 2 touchdowns, following up last week's great performance as well. Seaman had the ball late in the red zone, had one last shot to tie it or win it, depending on if they would have gone for 2. But they came up short as the Shawnee Heights defense held once again, as they did all game. Just a great game by both defenses, and a great game by Alan Bauman. So it was fun to watch, man. It was fun to watch.
I agree 100%. There was times, both on the Shawnee Heights front and the Seaman front, where they had to punt the ball away in certain situations because the defense was on both sides were just stellar. And to clock out the end of the first half, Shawnee Heights was in the red zone at the end of the first half. I'm not sure quite what happened there, where they let the time run out with 2 timeouts, but whatever it is, it worked.
I think, well, the last play of the half, they threw it up, and I I don't remember the name. Number 22 tried to toe tap, was about 2 inches away from the green, so he got called out of bounds, and then just went to the locker room after that.
Right. And so, yeah, I think that was Holly, Jaden Holly, yeah, I think that was him. I was interested with that play call. But then afterwards, it was just, Shawnee Heights starts out the third quarter with a touchdown, and Seaman really picked it up defensively, and like they were all game. Seaman was great defensively all game, but stopping Alan Bauman was that's a job. He had 29 carries, 178 yards, a couple touchdowns on Friday, and then he combined his 3 games on the year. He had 68 carries, 492 touchdowns, or 492 yards and 7. God, yeah, no, he would have if he had 492 touchdowns at this point.
League him.
It's a 10-year, $500 million contract right now.
Right.
Anyways, but he remarkable this year. We talk about some of the talent in the city, and Alan Bauman's name really didn't get brought up until week 2 after he had the 22 carry, 222 yard and 5 touchdown performance, because this week 1 he still rushed for 97 yards week 1. Didn't have any touchdowns. He still had a pretty solid game 1, but now we're talking about him because it's just like he's consistently just running the rock. And when you could tell Shawnee Heights wasn't completely comfortable passing on Siemens pass defense early in the game. So after the second drive, to start the third drive, I think Alan Bauman had 12 or 13 carries on the drive itself. That took about 5 minutes, and they ended up scoring on the drive. But Alan Bauman, they were just like, let's give the ball to that guy. He's really good, and we're going to get the yards. He was just 5-yard carry, 5-yard carry, 5-yard carry, 8-yard carry. It was just like consistently like, just this is what we're going to do. We're just going to give it to this guy. It's just going to be short chunk plays. We're going to get 5 yards almost guaranteed per carry. And that's what they needed, and that's what they did. And it came down to late red zone, and Siemens offense just was that close to tying it up, but potentially tying it up. It would have been 14-13, but great game. 14-7. Oh, man. After seeing, I love the high offensive outbursts, but seeing a 14-7 game just kind of catches you off guard. It's like, whoa, what happened here? But it was a great game. And I was really glad you and I both got to talk to Coach Swift afterwards. And he was pumped. You could tell he was pumped. This rivalry game meant something to both teams. And the fact that it was so close, it'll be a game most of those kids remember for the rest of their life. It was that good of a game.
Yeah, and Coach said after the game, he said, we're gonna enjoy it tonight, but coming tomorrow, we're gonna forget about it. He's like, so I think that's just the mindset you gotta have, and that's the mindset he's had coaching for so long. I'm sure he's used to it. So Shawnee Heights is gonna play Baser next week, which he mentioned. He said, yeah, we're just on to Baser. We're just on to Baser next week. And then Seaman plays Lansing, who been up and down a little bit this year, but I think Seaman will pull that one out. Okay.
It was kind of just what they had a 58-14 victory week 1. Seaman, I'm talking about Seaman. They had a 58-14 victory week 1. And then they had a 70-0 victory the week after, and then they put up 7 points in week 3. Right. What does that say about Shawnee Heights' defense? Man, props to them for that. I was really impressed with Max Huston. He was able to make situations from nothing turn into something. There was a lot of times where he could have just thrown the ball and hoped for the best, but he was 98 yards on the ground, 99 through the air. He'd drop back in coverage. He'd see an open hole, and he'd just go. And they did that like 4 times in a row, and that worked. They got him in the scoring position. So I liked what I saw from him too.
Yeah, it could have been a lot more yards too, because he broke off, I think, 60 or 70-yard run that ended up getting called back for a holding, and that would have put Seaman in a position to tie the game possibly. So it would have been a much different game if that happens. But obviously, penalties are a part of the game. So
as much drama as you could ask for.
Right. So Washburn Rural last week beat Piper, a good Piper team, 37-10. And this Piper team, just to show how good they are, beat Shawnee Heights week 1. And Shawnee Heights proved last week they're a very good team. So to see Washburn Rural come out and win by 27 points is very impressive. But I think as we said, as we keep talking about every single week, Washburn Rural is just good at everything. So what do you think about
Yeah,
this
this was the most impressive game from their season so far for me because Piper is just loaded in all front. I mean, I think Piper. I'm not being biased because my old high school football coach is on the staff, but
game?
Piper's a really good team. Like they have a K State commit on the offensive line. They have talent everywhere. Piper is not like Piper could compete with 6A schools, and even though and the Pirates took a 7-0 nothing in the lead in the first quarter, and we've talked about this every week. It's like second half Washburn Rural is insane because Rural only led by 13 to 10 going into the halftime, and you just said they won by 27. I think I think Washburn Rural is as well rounded of a team as you'll find in Class 6A. You think about McKentis Adams, who had 179 and two on the ground, 179 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, and we've all seen the highlights of Ty Weber on Twitter, just smashing people. And shout out to the student section yesterday. Thank you for getting noisy chickens. Thank you for getting. I appreciate the person that passed out noisy chickens.
Oh, that's funny.
Yesterday. I did see the pictures, so thank you for listening and everything. But we can talk about that another time. But my clip about Ty Weber last week apparently made the rounds, and everybody thought it was funny. Where Ty Weber and my chicken joke, of him brushing the A gap, and yeah. Thank you, Washburn Roll. I saw the pictures. That was great. But back to football. Back to football. No more chickens. I'm ending the chicken talk forever. But Washburn Roll, incredible. Brenton DeWeese is great. JC Heim. You think about all the stars that they have. Terrific. And Titan Osborne made some clutch catches. I was really impressed. I'm looking at some of the pictures that were taken by Doug Walker, who submitted them to Top Sports News. Thank you for doing that. And there's some just incredible. It's just an incredible team so far. I know there's a long way to go. They have Manhattan coming up, the number 1 team in Class 6A, and Washburn Rural is the number 4 right now. Washburn Rural is the number 4 team in 6A, so that should be right now the game of the. Well, I'd say the game of the year besides Manhattan and Derby, but Manhattan wasn't ranked.
Right.
So Washburn Rural is number 4, Manhattan's number 1. I could be mistaken. Let me check. If Washburn Rural is heading to Manhattan next Friday, so that's going to be the biggest challenge now that they have all years. You're going to the number 1 team in the state, going to their house. They beat Derby. They beat a kind of a wounded Topeka High team, and then they won again last week. So Manhattan's on quite the roll lately, and so is Washburn Rural. I don't think. With respect to Derby, I don't think Derby's defense is necessarily better than Washburn Rural's from what I've seen. I think Washburn Rural probably has the best defense in the state. So Manhattan has its own challenges coming up. But Manhattan versus Washburn Rural, that should be the game everybody's circling because there's a lot at stake in this one because Washburn Rural has a lot to prove. They were not happy with splitting the Centennial League title with Manhattan last year in Junction City. So Washburn Rural really, really, really wants to win this game. They want to be heard. They don't feel like they are heard because they've been hearing nothing but Blue Valley Northwest, Manhattan, and Derby. Those are the names that you constantly hear in 6A, and I think they want to be heard. They want to be respected. I think that if they somehow well, not I wouldn't say somehow. If they beat Manhattan, that's a good way to get your name out because if you beat Manhattan, there's a good chance they could be the number 1 team in the state with an undefeated record, so they can be ranked 1 by the time we talk next week. So I think with everything Washburn Rule's done this year, I think they've proven that they are a top team. So we'll see how Friday goes. But man, that's going to be a game. That is going to be a game.
Yeah, I hope I get sent to that one because it's gonna be a ball game. It's gonna be legit. That's gonna be so fun to watch. Um, so next on the docket we have Hayden and Rossville. So this was a great game. Hayden beat Rossville 55-34 in a very high scoring game that I don't think any of us expected because these are just two pound the rock type teams. Hayden scored twice in the first quarter before their offense even touched the ball, returned the opening kickoff, and then had a defensive touchdown as well. So Hayden moves to 3-0. Rossville is 1-2 for the first time in a long time. So we'll see what happens the rest of the year with that.
Yeah. The year is 2022. Highland Park's 3-0 and Rossville's 1-2.
It's crazy.
um Hayden's Jetson Strickle had an incredible performance. He had two returning touchdowns and then had a long receiving touchdown. I think he had his two returning touchdowns within like first like minute and a half or something crazy.
Mm,
And he had four total touchdowns. But Finn Dunchie, J.C. Cummings, Jensen Strickle, Joe Otting, of course, Notre Dame commit. Um, I think that they might have just been the better team the other night. I think Rossville. I think Hayden is. Well, you and I kind of predicted before the season that Hayden could be the best team in Class 3A, and I still believe that they can be. I just think that they're pretty stacked, man. You think about it, like the front five. I mean, all classes. It's like, yeah, there's not. I mean, Hayden's got a pretty good front five, and if you have that great of a front five, you can do whatever you want with anytime you want.
right.
And I think Hayden is as well rounded of a team as anybody. And it's not to discredit Rossville or anything. Rossville's had some tough matches right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I think Rossville could still make up some ground and be that playoff contender that they've been for forever. But Hayden's great. Hayden's great,
Mhm.
and I think they're out to prove people wrong and out to kind of show, hey, you know, we, we should be recognized as one of the top as well. And I think they'll probably be ranked 2 or 3 this upcoming week. But yeah, no, Hayden's really good at football.
Yeah.
I
No, Hayden.
think Rossville's
Hayden is
great
really good.
too, but Hayden just, you know, that was I can't confirm this, but I heard a rumor that might have been the first special teams touchdown that Hamas ever allowed at Rossville. Um, and I think they
Two
had
of them.
two of them. So yeah, hey, Aiden's good. Aiden's a good ball team. I think,
Hayden's talented for sure. Yeah.
yeah,
So
well-rounded, complete, you name it. I think Hayden's off to their 3-0 start.
mhm.
They're terrific so far through 3.
Yeah, sure thing. So Hayden will play Jeff West next week, and Rossville plays Atchison County. Hopefully, Rossville can get back in that win column to kind of calm their nerves a little bit, not panic about the rough start, which I don't think they are. I think they're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Moving down Highway 24 to Silver Lake. Silver Lake beat down on St. Mary's last Friday, 43-16, which is crazy because this St. Mary's team knocked off Rossville week 1. So it's a very impressive win. And I think St. Mary's is a good ball team, but this just shows that Silver Lake, once again, is going to be a contender with anybody they play. So I'm excited to see what happens the rest of the year for sure with them too.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it was cool that they started off the night honoring CJ Hamilton, the greatest
Mm.
coach in Kansas high school athletics history. He was the Silver Lake coach forever, and they honored him before the night kicked off, and that was pretty cool. And in Silver Lake, they just had a 5-point lead going into halftime, and then they broke it loose. They put 20. They outscored St. Mary's 22-0 in the second half to give them that 2-1 record. So Silver Lake I mean, it was a great game. I know Caden Walker had a pair of rushing touchdowns. Trenton Rollenhagen also had one, and Tanner Martin had a touchdown pass to Troy Hyman, and Troy Hyman had a great year last year. Glad to see he's kind of picking it back up. But yeah, no, Silver Lake's legit. They have that early season loss to Hayden last week, and not to I mean Hayden's just on another level. We just talked about it a second ago. Hayden's on another level. Not I'm not discrediting Silver Lake at all, but um Glad to see Silver Lake back in the win column after a rough loss to Hayden. Um, yeah, the sky's the limit for Silver Lake right now. I think that they're going to be just fine in Logan Pegram's system.
Yeah, so that I think we're gonna really see what Silver Lake can do next week because they got a good Rock Creek team to play next week. So excited
Mhm.
about that one. T High lost another tough one, as we mentioned earlier, to Liberal. They lost 27-0, but I believe it was 8-0 at half. So they were fighting. They just couldn't get it done, and it's been tough. They've been uh just outmatched, I think, in the first few games this year, and they just got to keep pushing through it, and they're going to find success. I think. I think T High is a good enough program, and their coach is a good enough coach that um, they're gonna figure it out, and they're gonna be okay.
I think so too. It was 8-0 at half, and it was a long drive too. Liberal is a very very far drive, and Topeka High is not used to that. You think about the last years or so, Topeka High is just like city teams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we really don't have to go far for anything. So that road warrior stuff they haven't really had to do before. Well, not in the last year or so. So
Yeah.
yeah, those 19 second half points that Liberal put up, that definitely hurts Topeka High. But I think the offense just needs to get rolling, and I think Topeka High's defense probably needs to do a little bit better as well. Not me. I'm not criticizing Topeka High, but
Mm-hmm.
Liberals tough team, tough travel. It was all working against Topeka High last week. I'm trying to see what the rest of Topeka High's schedule looks like coming up, but if Topeka High can just get one win, man, if they can get one
Yeah.
win, I think that'll be huge. And I'm not sure the status of BJ Kennedy either. Their star tight end, defensive end. They need him back, but they have a
Yeah.
very winnable game coming up on Friday against Emporia.
Mm-hmm.
Emporia's kind of had a rocky start to the year, so I would circle that one as that could be a game where Topeka High can get off on the right foot. Because after that, you got Wichita Northwest. That's away. You have to go there. You have to host Washburn Rural at Hummer Sports Park. You have to go to Junction City, and then you host Hayes. So it's
Yeah.
this
That's
this
tough.
week. This week is extremely important to get on the winning side of things. Emporia is your best shot right now, but if they beat Emporia, I might change my mind and and I think Topeka High can at least win one more game after Emporia. But if they can get off the right foot, and this is a huge week for them, they need this win badly because man, you get Mays, you get Manhattan, and then you have to travel to Liberal. That's
That's tough.
tough. That's a
Really tough.
brutal schedule, especially with as young of a team as Carlos Kelly has. It's just not the ideal schedule. So
Mm-hmm.
Emporia this week though, I think they can win that game. I think they can
Yeah.
win this week. I think they will win this week. Um, and I think they're going to get a little bit of confidence going. I think Topeka High is going to win against Emporia this Friday.
Yeah. It's as you said, super important week. So going into Topeka West. So Topeka West, another team. They lost to DeSoto 63-20. And this DeSoto team's nothing to they're good. DeSoto's good. They played a tough game against Washburn Rural, one score game against Washburn Rural, who we keep saying is really good. So it's just like the same as T High, man. They've just been unmatched, and T West has talent. T West has a lot of talent on their team. Um, they just don't have the talent of these teams that they're playing, and I think their record is a lot worse than the team they are. I think they have a really good quarterback. They got really good skill players, and they've got some talent. As I keep saying, they've got talent all across the team, and um, hey, man, they play another tough team next week. They play Piper next week. So it's just it's a tough schedule for T West, man.
I think the game against Piper this week's a Saturday morning game too. I think because there's a game Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Hummer this week. Saturday at 11 a.m. it throws
Yeah.
everybody off. So, and we've mentioned how great of a team Piper is too. Kind of with Topeka West, I see some winnable games down the stretch for them. It's kind of hard with Topeka High because They gave Topeka High just nothing. They gave them nothing but difficult games the entire year. But Topeka West after this week, I don't think real. I mean, it could be if Malachi Berg, who I think is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the state, if he has a little time in the pocket and if he doesn't have to rush outside so much and make so much happen, Topeka West can definitely make some noise against a tough Piper team. Piper did lose to Baser and Linwood, I think, week 2, um, which we really never see Piper in this city or county because they're in their own conference. But now we have two UKC schools and Washburn Rural playing them. I Saturday morning, Piper's traveling. There could be something there. There could definitely be something there. So I'm not gonna count Topeka West off on this one because weird things have happened in this sport. Piper's definitely the favorite, but I don't know. The Saturday 11 a.m. games, I've only seen one this year, high school game on a Saturday, and that's when Avery Johnson came to town and played Topeka High. And we don't need to address that, but after this week, West has Lansing and they have Turner. Those are two
Winnable games.
I'd say West is favored in one of those games. And then you have to end the year off with Shawnee Heights, which could be interesting. Cities, they're technically county schools. Tecumseh's right over there, but like
Right.
they can, yeah. I'd say Shawnee Heights is a city school. I mean, I could probably see Tecumseh out of my window, but anyway. And then they have Washburn Rural to end off the season. So obviously that one's going to be a rough game in terms of who you have to go against. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Saturday, 11 a.m. Team traveling from Kansas City to little old Topeka, Kansas. If that Saturday game is at 11 a.m., that's you never know. Weird
Yeah.
things have happened. Weird things have happened. So I hope West definitely has some winnable games down the stretch.
Mhm.
I can't say the same thing really about Topeka High except for a couple games, but yeah, Seaman, Leavenworth, and DeSoto. Those are tough. Those are really tough games to start out with, especially that DeSoto game where they lost by 43. But DeSoto kept it close with Washburn Rural, and DeSoto is I think, a top 15 team in 5A, despite their 1-2 or their 2-1 record. I think they're a top 15 team, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens this week.
Yeah. So moving down to Highland Park, another city team. They've started completely opposite. They're 3-0 for the first time in a long time. We'll just say that. They beat Sumner Academy 63-36. Yet another high scoring game for the Scots offense, who looked to be a really, really good offense. The Scots are hot, man. The Scots are hot, and Trey Richardson is on a roll. Do you have his stats for this game?
6 touchdowns this game, 20th touchdown on the season. He also had a pair of 2-point conversions as well. He picked off a pass. He has 1,344 all-purpose yards on the year. I love this kid, man.
This man, this dude is,
man. I love this kid so much, man. He's the best. It's this was an off game for him too. If you think about it.
6 touchdowns.
Compared to the rest of the games he's had, this is
Man.
shame on you, Trey. That was a horrible game. 6 touchdowns. Yeah, but
He's averaging more than 6 touchdowns a game. I just don't think, like, he's almost averaging 7 touchdowns a game.
He's gonna record the greatest season in Kansas high school.
He's gonna record the greatest season in football history. This dude is going off.
I know. Yeah, this is incredible to watch. And 8 years of losses, and now they're on top of the world. This is awesome. Keep it going, Highland Park. Keep it going. I know the defense is allowing a lot of points, but if your defense is allowing points, you flip the ball over and it goes to Trey Richardson's hands. So I mean, it's just like the defense. Highland Park's roster isn't very big, so it's like a lot of those players. It's like if you're on defense, you know, if you're most likely playing both ways. So, they've been counting on Trey to do his thing, and that's exactly what he's doing, man. He's he's hot. He's unbelievable right now, and I think it's, man, I'm so happy for them. I mean, losing 8 years, oh god, that's tough. That's tough on a team. It's tough on. It's great for the school. I think the school's getting behind them and everything. It's terrific. And then on Thursday they have a winnable game against Casey Harmon, which I think
Mhm.
Highland Park's favored. The top 10 rankings come out tomorrow. Could we see Highland Park there?
I think they're definitely going to be in conversation at least.
I bet
Um,
they get some votes. I'm not sure if they'll be top 10. If they are, that's awesome. Um I think they should definitely get some votes though and some consideration. I know the
yeah,
league they went to, the competition isn't as superior as the Centennial League because
mm,
the Centennial League has some 6As and some talented programs, and so does the Meadowlark League. Meadowlark League, I thought Kansas City Sumner was going to give them more problems than um, losing by 27 points. I thought I really or 30. What is
no,
it?
27. You're right.
27. Okay, that was right. I thought, honestly, I thought Sumner was going to give them more problems than they did, because I thought Sumner is a really good team. I thought Sumner second best team in the league personally. When I look at the Middle Arc conference, I thought KC Sumner second best team in that conference. So if you get that out of the way this early in the year, boy, these
Yeah,
Scots can make some noise that they've never made before.
right.
This is the year. I don't think their confidence is any higher. I don't think it can get any. Well, I bet it can get higher, but man, I'm so thrilled. I'm so happy for them. 8 years. You just imagine that 8 years of just losing all the freaking time, just loss after loss after loss, just for eight years. It's just nearly a decade of losses. It's just awesome. It's great for the city. It's great for the school. Terrific for us media people. I'm
Mhm.
glad that we don't have to report on anything but losing for them. And so that matches kind of their soccer teams in a good state right now. Their basketball team will be terrific this winter. The girls basketball team is turning the corner too. Um, their track is terrific. Like I think Highland Park is really turning that corner now. And with soccer being as good as it is this fall, and with what foot and the state that football's in, I think Highland Park is starting to know what winning feels like, and I couldn't be happier for him right now.
Yeah, shout out to the Scots. They're doing real well in all facets of athletics right now. So, lastly, right? This is the last team, Care Paravel.
Mhm.
Care Paravel moves to 2-1 with a big time win over. Let's see if I say this right. Marais de Sin Valley. I think that's how you say it.
Meridazine Valley. I'm
Meridazine.
from that area
Okay,
originally.
okay.
So it's the Meridazine Valley. I think Trojans
I
maybe.
think it
I
is. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, It looks
Marais.
Marais space DES space CYGNES space Valley. So it's a little complicated, but I think it's Meridazine Valley.
Okay. Okay.
The S is
Um,
silent.
okay. And then yeah, so they win 60-8 there. Um, not much to say there. I mean, you just
Yeah.
dogged them. But I think we're gonna see a lot on what they have next week because they play a tough team in Linden that just moved down to 8-man. So I think that's gonna be a tough game, but I think Paravel is talented enough to get it done. They have athletes on their team and they got talent all across the board. So I'm excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, and yeah, the 30 points the first half, 30 points the second half. Um I think this Linden game is going to be, besides the Axel game week 1, I think this will be the toughest game for him. Linden is an extremely storied program. They have guys as small as the school is. They have several guys playing collegiately. You got a guy at Emporia State. You have a guy at Alabama.
Yeah,
Like you
that's
think about
actually
that.
playing. Like he's
Yeah, he's
he's
playing
like
in
actually playing for
Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah, and the Linden is a interesting program because in high school or when I was in high school, that was our biggest rival in football was Linden, and they were technically a 3A at the time, and that was 2017 when I graduated. So they went from 3A to 2A to 1A. Now they're playing 8 man. But Linden is a very good football program traditionally, and they have a lot of guys playing collegiately. And Linden's just that's a tough team to face. I think Linden is going to be a big challenge for Care Paravel, because Linden's always had really good defenses.
Mm.
So Care Paravel after that Axtell game have played a couple teams where the defenses aren't as great. So Care Paravel and Linden could be it's the battle of the lions and the tigers. We'll see.
There you go.
We'll see which cat comes out on top. It's the cat bowl, but
His name.
that'll be a fun game. Kind of like the Washburn Rural Manhattan game. This Linden Care Paravel game is going to be really interesting. I'm going to have my eyes on both of those games. I'm going to have my eyes on all the games because that's my job. But having my eyes on those two games, I'm like, it could go either way, honestly.
Mhm.
So I don't know. There's some good football, Caleb. There's some good football coming this week.
Yes.
So
No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, so that's gonna do it for this week. We'll be back next week with another episode of Top Sports Talk. Once again, like and subscribe to this video, or like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's just so you never miss an episode. Isaac, you got anything else before we sign off?
don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the
Comment, yes.
channel, and be sure that you have the notification bell turned on so you never miss an episode.
There you go. Isaac's got it.
Check out the game picker.
Got it.
Check
There
out
we
the
go.
game
Yeah.
picker
Game
online.
ticker.
Help us help you.
Yes, sure thing. Yeah,
Like, subscribe, comment, notification bell. Yeah, that's it.
there we go. All right, so see you next week.